Laurel stared at the screen. The ship was 3 times the size of the horizon. It was black with sharp edges. The Earth Alliance symbol was painted on its side. But something felt wrong. Check the database. What ship is that? Laurel asked. Kimberly's fingers moved quickly over her screen. It says it's the Prometheus. But Commander, there is no Prometheus in our fleet. I've checked twice. A cold feeling spread through Laurel's chest. Open a channel. The screen flickered. A woman appeared. She wore an Earth Alliance uniform with captain's stripes. Her face was beautiful, but there was something off about it. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. This is Captain Maya Winters of the Earth Alliance vessel Prometheus, the woman said. Her voice was flat. You have something that belongs to us. Laurel stood straight. This is Commander Laurel Stone of the Horizon. We found a damaged alien craft with 1 survivor. We're giving medical aid as required by Alliance law. Captain. Winter's smile got wider. It looked wrong on her face. That creature is a dangerous specimen that escaped from a secure research facility. It must be returned immediately. Research facility, Laurel repeated. The being we found is a child, a sentient child. You are mistaken, Commander. It is a dangerous alien life form. Hand it over, or we will be forced to take it. The screen went black. Laurel turned to her crew. Something's not right. There is no Prometheus in the fleet, and we don't have research facilities for alien children. They're charging weapons, Diana warned. Big ones. Shields up, Laurel ordered. Wake everyone. Battle stations. The first blast hit before the shields were fully up. The ship shook, lights flickered. Damage report, Laurel called. Shields at 60%, someone yelled. Those weapons, they're not standard Alliance issue. They're too strong. Laurel gripped the command rail. Return fire. Target their weapon systems only. The Horizon's weapons seemed to bounce off. The Prometheus. The bigger ship fired again. This time the Horizon rocked so hard that Laurel fell to the floor. Shields at 30%, Diana shouted. 1 more hit like that and we're done. Alara appeared in the doorway of the bridge. Her skin was flashing red and orange. She pointed at the screen showing the Prometheus. She made a sound like a scream. Not human, the translator said. Not human inside. Laurel stared at Alara. What do you mean, not human inside? They wear human skin, Alara's translator said. But inside they are void. They eat worlds. Incoming message, Kimberly said. Captain Winters appeared again. Your shields are failing. Hand over the alien now, or we will destroy your ship and take it anyway. Laurel looked at Alara, then back at the screen. We need time to prepare the alien for transport. 1 hour. Captain Winters' face didn't change. You have 15 minutes. The screen went dark. We're not really giving her to them, are we? Heather asked. Laurel shook her head. Of course not, but we need time. Kimberly, what's the closest place we can hide? There's an asteroid field. Half a light jump from here. Dense enough to hide us, but the Prometheus is too big to follow. Set course. Diana, I want everyone ready to jump the second those 15 minutes are up. What if they fire on us when we try to run? Diana asked. Laurel looked at Alara, who was still by the door. Then we fight back harder. For the next 13 minutes, they pretended to prepare Alara for transport. The alien girl followed Laurel to the medical bay where they made a show of getting ready. In reality, they were preparing for a dangerous escape. I need you to be brave, Laurel told Alara. We're going to run very fast and very far. It might be scary. Alara's skin turned a soft purple. The translator said it meant she understood. 2 minutes left. Diana's voice came over the speaker. Laurel took Alara's 6-fingered hand. Let's go. They ran back to the bridge. Everyone was at their stations, faces tense. 1 minute, Kimberly said. Engines ready? Laurel asked. Yes. Commander. Weapons? Ready. 30 seconds. Laurel sat in her command chair. Alara stood next to her, skin flashing between purple and blue. 15 seconds. On my mark, Laurel said, her voice calm despite her racing heart. 10 seconds. 5, Now. The horizon shot forward, engines burning hot. At the same time, they fired all weapons at the Prometheus. The big ship was caught by surprise. Their shots hit its front sensors. The horizon was already turning, aiming for the jump point. "They're firing!" Diana shouted. "Evasive pattern Delta," Laurel ordered. The horizon spun and dove. Most of the shots missed. One clipped their back engine. Damage to engine 3. Still functional, but at 80%, Heather reported. "They're following," Kimberly said, voice tight. "Jump point in 30 seconds. The Prometheus was gaining on them. It fired again. This time the shot grazed their side. Shields at 15%. 20 seconds to jump point. Another shot, another hit. Alarms blared. Shields failing. 10 seconds. The Prometheus fired one more time. The shot passed right over the horizon. 5 seconds. They're locking weapons again. 3, 2, 1, jump. The stars stretched around them. The horizon leapt forward into faster-than-light speed. The bridge was silent except for the hum of the engines. "Did we lose them?" Laurel finally asked. Kimberly checked her screens. "For now. We'll exit jump in the asteroid field in about 4 hours." Laurel let out a breath she'd been holding. She looked at Alara, who was still standing next to her chair. The alien's skin was now a deep blue. "Are you okay?" Laurel asked. Alara's skin rippled with colors. The translator worked to keep up. "Thank you," it finally said. "They would eat me." "No one's going to eat you," Laurel promised. "But I need to understand what's happening. Who are they? Why do they want you? And why do they look like humans?" Over the next 4 hours, as the horizon sped through space, Alara tried to explain. The translator was better now, but still missed many things. What Laurel learned made her feel cold all over. Alara's people were called the Lumini. They lived in a star system 16 light-years from Earth. They were peaceful, they had no weapons. They fed on light and energy. About 10 years ago, ships came to their world. The ships had Earth Alliance symbols. The people inside looked human, but they weren't. "Not human," Alara insisted. "They pretend. They steal faces." "Who are they really?" Laurel asked. "The Void," Alara said. Her skin turned almost black as she said it. "They come from between stars. They eat life. They eat feelings. They make war, then they eat the death. And they're pretending to be humans? Why? Humans new to stars. Not many know humans yet. Easy. To pretend. Make others hate humans. Make war." Laurel felt sick. "So other species think humans are monsters because of what these void creatures are doing while looking like us?" Ilara's skin flashed. "Yes." "How many Lumini have they taken?" Laurel asked. "Many children," Alara answered. "They take, they cut, they learn to look like us too." Laurel closed her eyes. This was worse than she had imagined. Not only was an alien species pretending to be human and attacking others, they were also learning to mimic those other species too. The ship's alarm sounded again. Laurel jumped to her feet. "Commander," Kimberly called. "We're coming out of the jump, but there's a problem. The Prometheus is already there, waiting for us." "That's impossible," Laurel said. "They couldn't have beaten us here. They know old ways," Alara said, her skin a warning red. "Secret paths through space." The horizon slowed down as it came out of the jump. The asteroid field was ahead, thousands of rocks floating in space, and between them in safety was the black ship. "How did they know where we were going?" Diana asked. Laurel turned to look at each crew member. Maybe they didn't. Maybe someone told them. Everyone stared at each other. The thought that one of them might be a traitor was terrible. "Or maybe," Laurel said, "one of us isn't who they seem to be." The stars shone like diamonds against the black space. Commander Laurel Stone stood on the bridge of her spaceship, the horizon. Her dark hair was tied back in a neat bun. Her blue uniform was clean and pressed. She had been the commander for 5 years now. Her crew trusted her. She trusted them too. "Commander, we found something strange," said Officer Heather Mills. Her voice was steady, but Laurel could hear a hint of excitement. Laurel walked over to Heather's screen. "Show me." The screen showed a small ship floating in space. It wasn't like any ship Laurel had seen before. It didn't have straight lines or metal parts like human ships. This ship was curved like a leaf. It glowed with soft blue and green lights. It looked almost alive. "Is anyone on it?" Laurel asked. Heather nodded. "One life form. Not human. Small, about the size of a child." Laurel looked closer at the screen. The strange ship had burn marks on one side. Something had attacked it. Whoever was inside might be hurt. "It's not answering our calls," said Kimberly Voss, the communications officer. She was new to the crew, but she was very good at her job. "Should we leave it alone?" Laurel thought for a moment. The Alliance rules were clear. They should help any ship in trouble. But this was not a human ship. They had never seen anything like it before. It could be dangerous. "Scan it for weapons," Laurel ordered. Diana Ford, the security officer, ran the scan. She shook her head. "No weapons that I can detect. The ship seems to be running on low power. Life support is failing." Laurel made her decision. "Bring it into Docking Bay 3. I'll go meet our visitor. Diana, come with me. Bring medical help too." The strange ship was even more amazing up close. The outer shell wasn't metal. It felt more like smooth, warm plastic. The lights under the surface pulsed like a heartbeat. "How do we get in?" Diana asked. She had her hand on her gun, just in case. As if answering her question, a part of the ship's wall became clear, then opened. It didn't slide or swing like a door. It simply melted away. Inside was dark. Laurel turned on her flashlight. The beam showed a small room with curved walls. The floor was soft like moss. Strange symbols covered the walls. And in the corner, hiding behind what looked like a control panel, was a small figure. "Hello?" Laurel said softly. "We're here to help you." The figure didn't move. In the flashlight beam, Laurel could see it wasn't human. It was small, maybe the size of a 10-year-old child, but it wasn't a child. Its skin was a pale blue that seemed to shift colors when it moved like oil on water. It had no hair. Its head was larger than a human's, with huge eyes that took up almost half its face. Those eyes were deep black with no whites. Its hands had 6 long fingers. The alien stared at Laurel and Diana. It was shaking. "It's scared," Diana whispered. Laurel slowly put her flashlight down so the light wasn't directly on the alien. She knelt to make herself look smaller. "It's okay," she said. "We won't hurt you." The alien pressed itself further into the corner. It made a high sound like a whistle. Dr. Samantha Reed, the ship's doctor, tried to approach with a medical scanner. The alien's skin changed from blue to a pale white. It looked at the scanner like it was a weapon. "I think it's been hurt before," Samantha said. "By humans, maybe." Laurel noticed something. The alien wasn't just looking at their faces or their hands. It was staring at their food packs. All crew members carried emergency ration packs on their belts. Laurel slowly removed her food pack and set it on the floor. The alien's eyes followed her every move. Its breathing got faster. "I think," Laurel said slowly, "I think it believes we're going to eat it." Diana and Samantha exchanged shocked looks. "That's crazy," Diana said. "Why would it think that?" Laurel didn't answer. She was watching the alien, who was now making small, crying sounds. Its skin was flashing different colors, mostly whites and grays. "We need to show it we're not a threat," Laurel said. She sat down on the floor, cross-legged. She opened her food pack and took out a protein bar. Slowly, making sure the alien could see, she took a bite of the bar. The alien's eyes widened even more. Laurel pointed to the bar, then to her mouth, then to herself. "Food. For me. Not you," she said, making her words as simple as possible. The alien watched her for a long time. Then, very slowly, it reached into a fold in its clothing. It pulled out something that looked like a glowing crystal. It put the EI crystal to its chest, where the light seemed to sink into its skin. "I think that's how it eats," Samantha whispered. "It absorbs energy." Laurel nodded. She put her hand on her chest. "Laurel," she said. The alien tilted its head. It made a sound that was impossible for a human throat to make. Something like L or A. Ilara, Laurel repeated, trying to get close to the sound. The alien nodded. It was the first human gesture they had seen it make. Ilara, Laurel said, smiling. Welcome to the horizon. Over the next few hours, they managed to coax Ilara out of her ship and into the medical bay. The translator program was working hard to understand her language. It wasn't just sounds. The colors of her skin changed with her words, making it very complex. By the time the ship's day cycle ended, they had learned a few things. Ilara was female, or at least that was the closest human concept. She was young for her kind, though they didn't know how young. And she was running from something. When they asked what she was running from, Ilara's skin turned dark gray. She pointed to a picture of Earth on the wall. Then she made a cutting motion across her throat. Humans? Laurel asked, not wanting to believe it. You're running from humans? Ilara's skin flashed red. Yes. But why? What did humans do to your people? Ilara's answer came through the translator in broken words. Humans hunt, humans take, humans eat. Laurel felt sick. No, that's not true. We don't eat other thinking beings. We would never do that. Ilara's skin turned a deep blue, almost black. The translator said it meant she didn't believe Laurel. We need to understand what happened, Laurel told her crew later. Something is very wrong here. Either Ilara is mistaken, or someone is doing terrible things in humanity's name. That night, as Laurel tried to sleep, alarms began to sound throughout the ship. She ran to the bridge in her sleep clothes. What's happening? She asked. Kimberly looked up from her station, her face pale. A ship just appeared on our scanners. It's huge, and Commander, and it's one of ours. It's human. The bridge was silent. Everyone looked at each other with new suspicion. If one of us is not human, Heather said slowly. How can we tell? Laurel looked at Ilara. Can you tell who is real and who isn't? Ilara's skin rippled with patterns. Sometimes, the void hides well, but they cannot hide their hunger, their cold. Could you check each of us? Laurel asked. Ilara nodded. Her huge eyes blinked slowly. She walked to each person on the bridge. She placed one 6-fingered hand near their face, not touching, but close enough to feel their breath. Her skin changed colors with each person. When she reached Kimberly, Ilara stopped. Her skin turned dark gray. She backed away. What's wrong? Laurel asked. Cold, Ilara said. Empty inside. Everyone turned to look at Kimberly. She looked confused, then angry. This is ridiculous, Kimberly said. I'm as human as anyone else here. I've been on this ship for 3 months. And in those 3 months, Diana said slowly, we've had 6 navigation errors, 2 missed communications, and now this perfect trap. Kimberly's face changed. Her confused look disappeared. Her mouth stretched into a smile that was too wide for a human face. Clever little Lumini, Kimberly said. Her voice sounded different now, like 2 voices speaking together. You always could sense us. Laurel reached for her weapon, but Kimberly moved too fast. She grabbed Ilara and held her like a shield. Stay back, Kimberly warned. Her eyes had changed too. They were completely black now with no whites at all. Or I'll snap this little light eater's neck. What do you want? Laurel asked, trying to keep her voice steady. We told you already. We want the Lumini child. Her people have something we need. And what's that? Kimberly's too wide smile grew even bigger. The ability to feed on positive emotions. We can only digest fear, pain, anger. But imagine if we could feed on joy, love, hope. We'd never go hungry again. So you hunt their children? Study them like lab animals? Laurel felt her anger rising. We do what we must to survive, Kimberly said. Now you will turn this ship around and dock with the Prometheus. Or I will kill everyone here, starting with this child. Laurel looked at Ilara, who was trapped in Kimberly's grip. The alien child's skin was pale gray with fear. But then Laurel saw something. Ilara's hand was slowly moving toward Kimberly's arm. Laurel needed to keep the thing that wasn't Kimberly talking. "How long have you been pretending to be human?" The fake Kimberly laughed. "Longer than you've been alive, Commander Stone. We found your species centuries ago. So full of emotion, so easy to copy, so quick to fight." Ilara's hand was almost touching Kimberly's arm now. "And the other aliens you've taken? The ones you've studied? What happened to them?" "They served their purpose," not Kimberly said. "As will this one." Ilara's hand touched Kimberly's arm. Instantly, the fake human screamed. It was a horrible sound, not like anything a human throat could make. Kimberly's face seemed to melt. Her skin rippled like water. Ilara jumped away. "Now!" she yelled through the translator. Diana fired her weapon. The beam hit Kimberly square in the chest, but instead of falling, Kimberly's body changed. Her human shape melted away. In her place stood something tall and thin. Its skin was black and shiny like oil. It had no face, just a smooth head with 3 glowing spots where eyes and mouth would be on a human. The crew stared in horror. The thing that had been Kimberly moved faster than any human. It leapt across the bridge toward Ilara. Diana fired again. The beam hit the creature but seemed to pass right through it. The monster didn't even slow down. Ilara's skin flashed bright white, like a camera flash. The creature screamed again and covered the spots on its head that might have been eyes. Light hurts it, Laurel realized. Full lights! She hit the control that brought the bridge lights to maximum brightness. The creature shrieked. Its oily skin seemed to smoke. "Weapons don't work on it," Diana shouted, still trying to shoot the thing. "The airlock," Laurel said. "Get it to the airlock." The crew moved to surround the creature, herding it toward the exit. The monster thrashed and reached for them with long, thin arms that ended in too many fingers. Heather pressed the airlock controls. The outer door opened, showing the empty space beyond. But the creature was smart. It flattened itself against the wall, refusing to go near the open door. "We need to push it in," Diana said. "How?" "We can't touch that thing," Heather replied. Ilara stepped forward. Her skin was glowing brighter and brighter. She made a sound like singing. The translator couldn't keep up, but it wasn't needed. Everyone could feel what was happening. Joy. Pure, simple joy was radiating from the small alien. The feeling filled the bridge, making the humans smile despite the danger. But the creature had a very different reaction. It writhed as if in pain. It tried to back away from Ilara, but was already against the wall. Ilara stepped closer, still singing. The creature's oily skin began to bubble. It made one last desperate lunge, not at Ilara, but at Laurel. Its long fingers wrapped around Laurel's throat. Cold. That's all Laurel could feel. A terrible cold that seemed to freeze her from the inside. Her happy feelings drained away, replaced by fear and pain. The creature was feeding on her emotions. Through dimming eyes, Laurel saw Ilara rush forward. The small alien placed her glowing hands on the creature's arm. Light poured from her into the monster. The creature let go of Laurel. It backed away, making terrible sounds. Its body was changing again, melting, reforming. For a moment, it looked human again. Not like Kimberly, but like someone else, someone Laurel had never seen. Then it looked like a Lumini, then something else again. It cycled through forms as if it couldn't hold any shape. Finally, with a high shriek, it fell into the airlock. Diana hit the button. The outer door opened. The creature was sucked out into space. Laurel gasped for breath. Her throat hurt where the thing had grabbed her. Ilara came to her side, skin now a soft blue. "Are you okay?" the alien child asked through the translator. Laurel nodded. "What did you do to it?" "Gave it too much joy," Ilara said. "The void cannot digest happy feelings. They burn." Diana helped Laurel to her feet. "Commander, the Prometheus is moving. They're coming after us." Laurel moved to the command chair. "Get us into the asteroid field. Use the smallest paths you can find. That ship is too big to follow us through the tight spots." "And then what?" Heather asked. "We can't run forever." "We're not running," Laurel said. We're leading them into a trap of our own. For the next hour, the Horizon played a dangerous game of hide-and-seek with the Prometheus. The bigger ship couldn't fit between the asteroids, so it had to go around. This gave the Horizon time to dash from hiding place to hiding place. "They're falling behind," Heather reported. "Good," Laurel said. "Now find us the densest part of the field. I want rocks so close together that a shuttle would have trouble getting through." Heather found what she was looking for. A cluster of asteroids so tightly packed they almost looked like one big mass. "In there," Laurel ordered. "Then kill all power except life support. Let them think we're hiding." The Horizon slipped between the rocks. With power off, they floated silently in the darkness. Outside the windows, they could see the Prometheus circling the asteroid cluster, scanning for them. "What now?" Diana whispered, as if the other ship might hear them. "Now we learn everything we can," Laurel said. She turned to Alara. "Tell us about the void, everything you know." In the dim emergency lighting, Alara's skin glowed softly as she spoke. The void had been in the galaxy for thousands of years. They came from somewhere else, somewhere beyond known space. They fed on negative emotions and death. They couldn't create these feelings themselves, so they made other species fight each other. "They copy," Alara explained. "Take skin, take face, take memories, pretend to be you, make trouble, start war, then feed on fear and death." "And they've been pretending to be humans?" Laurel asked. "Yes, humans not known to many yet. Good disguise." "But why take Lumini children?" Heather asked. "We feel emotions more strongly," Alara said. "We eat light and feeling, good feelings like joy, love. The void want to learn how. If they could eat good feelings too, they would be unstoppable." "Can they be killed?" Diana wanted to know. "Not easily," Alara said. "They have no real body like you or me. They are energy with shape." She struggled to explain through the limited translator. "But yes, they can die. Light hurts them, joy burns them, and cold of space kills them in the end." "So the one we pushed out the airlock is dead?" Laurel asked. "Yes, but there are many more on that ship. Many, many more." Laurel was quiet for a moment, thinking. "We need to warn Earth, and we need to help your people. But first we need to deal with that ship." "How?" Diana asked. "We can't fight it. Our weapons don't hurt them." Laurel smiled. "But we know what does hurt them. Light and joy." She looked at Alara. "Can your people help us fight the void?" Alara's skin turned a deep purple. "Yes, if we reach my home, my people will help. But the void ship blocks the way." "Then we need to get past it," Laurel said. "And I have an idea how." Laurel gathered her crew in the dim light of the bridge. The Prometheus was still circling outside, searching for them. "Here's my plan," Laurel said quietly. "We know 3 things about the void. 1, they can look like humans or any species. They've studied. 2, they feed on negative emotions. 3, they are hurt by light and positive feelings." "So how does that help us?" Diana asked. "We're going to use Alara's ship," Laurel explained. "It's small, it's fast, and it's made of materials the void can't easily detect. We'll load it with our brightest lights and send it straight at the Prometheus." "As a weapon?" Heather looked unsure. "As a distraction," Laurel corrected. "While they're focused on the small ship, we'll power up and make a run for it. We only need enough of a head start to reach Lumini space." "The small ship will need a pilot," Diana said. "Who's going to fly it?" "I will," Laurel said. "I'll set it on a collision course, then use the escape pod to get back to the Horizon." "That's too dangerous," Heather protested. "The void will capture you." "Not if we time it right," Laurel said. "But I'll need all of you to do your parts perfectly." They spent the next hour preparing. Alara showed them how her ship worked. It wasn't controlled with buttons or switches like human ships. Instead, it responded to touch and thought. "It feels what you want," Alara explained, placing Laurel's hand on a smooth panel that glowed under her fingers. "Think direction, it goes." Meanwhile, Diana and Heather gathered every light source they could find. Flashlights, emergency beacons, even the lights from their personal quarters. They loaded them into Alara's ship. "Remember," Laurel told them as she prepared to board the small craft, "wait until the Prometheus moves toward me, then power up and run. Don't wait for me if things go wrong. Get Alara to her people." Diana handed Laurel a small device. "Take this, it's a homing beacon, we'll find you." Laurel nodded and slipped into Alara's ship. It felt strange inside. The walls pulsed with soft light. The floor seemed to adjust to her feet. When she sat in what must be the pilot's seat, it molded to her body. "Think direction," Laurel whispered to herself. She placed her hands on the glowing panels and thought about moving forward, out of the asteroid cluster. The ship hummed. It rose gently and slipped through a gap in the rocks. Laurel was in open space now, the horizon hidden behind her, the Prometheus ahead. It didn't take long for the bigger ship to notice her. Alara's ship lit up like a beacon as Laurel switched on all the lights they had packed inside. The small craft glowed like a small sun. "Come on," Laurel whispered. "Follow the pretty light." The Prometheus turned. It was coming toward her now, just as she had hoped. Laurel pushed the ship to go faster, leading the void ship away from the asteroid field where the horizon was hidden. Through the clear front of Alara's ship, Laurel could see the Prometheus growing larger. It was massive, black against the stars. She needed to get closer, make them fully commit to chasing her before she escaped. A voice crackled through the ship's communication system. It was Captain Winters. "Commander Stone," the voice said. It sounded amused. "What a brave, foolish thing to do. Did you think we wouldn't recognize the Lumini ship?" Laurel didn't answer. She was watching the distance between her small craft and the Prometheus. "Not close enough yet. We've locked onto you," the voice continued. "There's nowhere to run." A beam of energy shot from the Prometheus. It wasn't a weapon. It was a tractor beam, trying to pull Alara's ship in, now. It was time to go. Laurel reached for the panel that would open the escape pod. But nothing happened. She tried again, nothing. "The escape system isn't working," she realized with a sinking feeling. The ship was too damaged from whatever attack had happened before they found it. Laurel was trapped. The small ship was being pulled inexorably toward the Prometheus. She looked back toward the asteroid field. The horizon should be moving by now, escaping while the void ship was distracted. "I hope they made it," Laurel whispered. The tractor beam pulled her closer to the Prometheus. A large door was opening on its side, a docking bay ready to swallow Alara's ship whole. Laurel looked around the small craft. There had to be something she could use, some way to fight back. Her eyes fell on the control panel, still glowing under her hands. "It feels what you want," Alara had said. Laurel closed her eyes. She placed both hands flat on the panel. She thought about light, brightness, joy, all the happy moments of her life. Her graduation from the academy, her first command, the friends she'd made, the places she'd seen. The ship began to glow brighter, not just from the lights they had packed inside, but from the ship itself. The walls, the floor, the ceiling, all were beginning to shine with an inner light. "What are you doing?" Captain Winters' voice came again, now with an edge of worry. Laurel didn't answer. She kept her eyes closed, kept thinking of joy and light and hope. The ship glowed brighter and brighter. The tractor beam was still pulling her in. She was almost at the docking bay now, but that was okay. That was part of her new plan. The small ship slipped into the docking bay of the Prometheus. Laurel opened her eyes. Through the clear front of Alara's ship, she could see figures waiting for her. They looked human, but she knew better now. The ship touched down. The door of Alara's craft opened. Laurel stood ready to face whatever came next. The beings that stepped forward were wearing Earth Alliance uniforms. They looked human in every way, but their movements were too smooth, too perfect. And their eyes had no light in them. "Commander Stone," one of them said, smiling with too many teeth. "Welcome aboard the Prometheus." Laurel smiled back. "Thank you for the invitation." She stepped out of Alara's ship. The small craft was still glowing, brighter than it should be. The void creatures kept their distance from it. "Where is the Luminite child?" the lead creature asked. "Safe," Laurel said. "Far away from you by now." The creature's face twitched. "You're lying. Our sensors show your ship is still hiding in the asteroid field." Laurel felt a flicker of worry. The Horizon hadn't escaped yet. She needed to buy them more time. "Why do you look like us?" she asked, changing the subject. "Why pretend to be human?" The creature smiled again. "Humans are perfect for our needs. Young enough in the galactic community that few know you well, emotional enough to provide good feeding, and divided enough that no one questions when one group of humans attacks another. And the Lumini? Why hunt them?" "They are our opposite," the creature said. "They feed on light and joy. We feed on darkness and pain. But imagine if we could learn to feed as they do. We would never need to hunt again." "So you've been experimenting on their children," Laurel said, her voice hard. "Cutting them open to see how they work." "Yes," the creature admitted without shame. "And soon we will have another subject to study." Laurel thought quickly. She needed a distraction, something to keep them talking while the Horizon escaped. And she needed to find a way off this ship. "You won't win," Laurel said. "Now that I know the truth, I'll make sure everyone in the Alliance knows too. All the aliens you've tricked into hating humans will learn who their real enemy is." The creature laughed. It was a horrible sound, like metal scraping on metal. "You won't be telling anyone anything, Commander. You'll be joining our collection." The creature stepped closer. The others moved to surround Laurel. She backed up until she was against Alara's ship. The craft was still glowing, its light causing the creatures to squint and stay back. "You can't hide behind that light forever," the leader said. "I don't need forever," Laurel replied. "I just need long enough." She placed her hand back on the panel of Alara's ship. The glow brightened immediately. The creatures hissed and backed further away. "What are you doing?" the leader demanded. Laurel smiled. "Thinking happy thoughts." The ship's glow intensified until it was hard to look at directly. The creatures covered their faces. Some of them were making pained noises. Their human disguises were slipping, showing glimpses of oily black skin underneath. An alarm began to sound throughout the Prometheus. A voice came over the speakers. "Warning. Unknown energy signature detected in Docking Bay 3. Energy levels rising beyond safe parameters." The leader looked at Laurel with hatred. "Stop this now." "I can't," Laurel said. "It has a mind of its own." That wasn't entirely true. Laurel was still feeding happy thoughts into the ship, but something else was happening too. The ship was responding, amplifying her emotions into pure energy. The light was now so bright that Laurel had to close her eyes. She could hear the creatures screaming. Through her eyelids, she saw a flash like an explosion. Then silence. When she opened her eyes, the docking bay was empty except for smoking piles of black oil where the creatures had been. Alara's ship had stopped glowing. It looked smaller somehow, as if it had used up some of its mass to create the energy blast. The alarms were still blaring. Laurel knew she didn't have much time. More void creatures would come to investigate soon. She needed to find a way off this ship. She ran to the docking bay control panel. It was designed for human use, or at least, to look like it was for human use. Laurel quickly found the controls for the outer door. "Warning," the computer said. "Opening outer door while inner door is open will result in decompression of the docking bay." "That's the idea," Laurel muttered. She hit the override button. Laurel woke to a familiar humming sound. She was in the medical bay of the Horizon. Dr. Samantha Reed was scanning her with a medical device. "Welcome back, Commander," Samantha said with a smile. "You gave us quite a scare." Laurel tried to sit up. Her body felt heavy and sore. "What happened? How did you find me?" "The beacon you activated," Diana said from the doorway. "And Alara. She sensed you somehow." Laurel looked around. Where is she? Is she okay? I am here, said a small voice. Alara stepped into view. Her skin was a healthy blue now with swirls of purple. You are not dead. This is good. Laurel smiled. Very good. But the Prometheus? The void creatures? Diana's face grew serious. Still out there. We managed to damage their engines while rescuing you, but they'll repair soon. We've been running at maximum speed for 2 days now. 2 days? Laurel was shocked. I've been unconscious that long? Exposure to space will do that, Samantha said dryly. You're lucky the emergency systems in that suit worked as well as they did. Another minute and you would have had brain damage. Laurel swung her legs off the bed, ignoring Samantha's protests. We need to keep moving. Where are we headed? Lumine. Space, Diana said. Alara has been guiding us. We should reach the border in about 6 hours. And then what? And then we hope her people can help us, Diana said. Because we can't fight the void alone. 6 hours later, Laurel was back on the bridge. She wasn't fully recovered, but she refused to stay in the medical bay. This was too important. We're approaching the coordinates Alara gave us. Heather reported. But I don't see any planets, no stars nearby either. Laurel looked at Alara. Are you sure this is right? Alara nodded. Her skin was glowing brighter than usual. Home, she said simply. She walked to the front of the bridge and placed her hand on the main viewport. The space in front of them changed. It was hard to describe. One moment they were looking at empty black space, and the next they could see a star system that hadn't been there before. A yellow sun, 3 planets, and hundreds of small, glowing objects in orbit around them. They were hiding, Laurel realized. Some kind of cloaking technology. Light bending, Alara explained through the translator. Lumini can bend light around our home, hide from void. Incoming transmission, Heather said, sounding surprised. It's in... I don't know what language. This is... Let me, Alara said. She touched the communication panel. It lit up with colors that matched the patterns on her skin. She made a series of musical sounds. The view screen showed another Lumini. This one was larger than Alara, with skin that glowed green and gold. It spoke in the same musical language. They welcome us, Alara translated. But they are worried. Human ship in Lumini space. Never happened before. Tell them we come in peace, Laurel said. Tell them about the void, how they're pretending to be human. Tell them we want to help. Alara spoke again to her people. The larger Lumini listened, its skin changing colors as it heard the story. When Alara finished, the adult Lumini was glowing a deep red. They say come, Alara translated. But careful. Void hunts here too. The horizon was guided to the middle planet. It was smaller than Earth, with 2 large oceans and 1 main continent. As they got closer, Laurel could see that the land was covered in structures that looked like giant flowers or crystals. They glowed with their own light, in all colors of the rainbow. It's beautiful, she whispered. Alara's skin turned a pleased purple. Home. They landed in a field of glowing grass. The blades were long and thin, each tipped with a small light like a firefly. A group of adult Lumini waited for them. Only you, Alara said to Laurel. Others stay on ship. Too many humans. Scary for my people? Laurel nodded. I understand. She followed Alara down the ramp. The air on the Lumini world was thinner than Earth's, but breathable. It smelled like flowers and electricity. The adult Lumini approached them. They were taller than Laurel had expected, nearly 7 feet high. Their bodies were thin but strong-looking. Like Alara, their skin changed colors constantly but with more complex patterns. One stepped forward. Its skin was mostly gold with green spirals. It made a musical sound. This is Orele, Alara translated. Leader of council. My parent. Laurel bowed slightly. Thank you for allowing me on your world. I am Commander Laurel Stone of the Earth Alliance. Aurel spoke again, the sounds like wind chimes in a breeze. Aurel says you saved child, fought void, brought warning. Ilara translated, brave for human. The void is everyone's enemy, Laurel said. They're pretending to be human, making other species hate us. We want to stop them as much as you do. Aurel listened to the translation, then spoke again. This time the musical sounds were darker, more intense. Aurele says Void hunts Luminae for many years, Ilara said. Takes children, studies, learns to copy. Soon Void will look like Luminae too. Then no safe place. Is there a way to stop them? Laurel asked. A weakness we can use? Aurel's skin flashed with patterns that reminded Laurel of equations or formulas. The leader spoke for a long time. Void weak to joy, Ilara translated. To light, to hope, but not enough to kill all. Need stronger light. Brighter joy, pure energy of life. How do we create that? Laurel asked. Aurel pointed to a tall crystal structure in the distance. It glowed with a white light so bright that Laurel had to squint to look at it. The heart, Ilara translated. Center of Luminae power. All light, all joy, all life flows through heart. But Void knows. Hunts heart. If Void takes heart, all Luminae die. And if we use the heart against the Void? Laurel asked. Maybe kill Void, Ilara said. Maybe kill Luminae too. Too much power. Too dangerous. A sound like thunder interrupted them. Laurel looked up to see a large shape darkening the sky. The Prometheus had found them. They followed us, Laurel said. I'm sorry. We led them right to you. Aurel's skin turned a deep, calm blue. The leader spoke again, this time to the other Luminae. They scattered, heading toward different crystal structures. Preparing defense, Ilara explained. Gathering light. Aurele turned back to Laurel and spoke again. Aurela asks if humans will fight with Luminae, Ilara translated, against false humans, to show Galaxy the truth. Yes, Laurel said without hesitation. The Horizon and her crew stand with you. Aureli's skin flashed bright white for a moment. Approval. The leader turned and pointed to the heart again, then spoke. We go to heart, Ilara translated. Need human and Luminae together. Need both to defeat Void. They ran toward the crystal structure, Laurel struggling to keep up with the long-legged Luminae. Behind them she could hear the sounds of weapons fire. The Void ship was attacking the planet's surface. The Horizon, Laurel said between breaths. My crew. Safe, Ilara assured her. Other ships protect. Look. Laurel looked up. Dozens of small glowing ships had risen from the surface. They surrounded the Prometheus, darting around it like fireflies around a lantern. They were too small and fast for the big ship's weapons to target effectively. They reached the base of the heart. Up close, it was even more impressive. A crystal tower that rose hundreds of feet into the air, glowing with inner light that pulsed, like a heartbeat. Aurel placed a hand on the crystal's surface. A door appeared, opening into the structure. They entered a large, circular room. In the center was a pool of what looked like liquid light. It swirled and moved as if alive. The true heart, Ilara said with awe in her voice. Source of all Luminae life. Aurel spoke again, longer this time. Ilara listened carefully, then turned to Laurel. Void want heart, want to learn how make their own. How feed on joy, not pain. If they learn, they grow too strong. No one can fight. Ilara paused, then continued. Aureli says we must show Void. That joy cannot be taken, only given. Must show that human and Luminae together stronger than Void. How do we do that? Laurel asked. Aurela pointed to the pool of light, then to Laurel, then to Ilara. The leader spoke again. Human and Luminae together in heart, Ilara translated. Share feelings, share joy. Make light so bright Void cannot stand. Is it dangerous? Laurel asked. Ilara's skin turned a solemn gray. Yes, maybe die. But if not try, All die when void take heart. Laurel looked at the pool of light, then at Ilara. I'm willing if you are. Ilara's skin brightened to a determined yellow. Yes. Aurelie spoke one more time, then stepped back. Aurelie says think of home. Ilara translated. Think of joy. Think of hope. Then step into light. Laurel closed her eyes. She thought of Earth, of her family, of her friends on the horizon. She thought of all the beautiful things she had seen in space. She thought of the moment she first saw the stars as a child and knew she wanted to explore them. She opened her eyes and looked at Ilara. Ready? Ilara nodded. Her skin was glowing brightly now, all colors at once. Ready. They stepped into the pool of light together. The liquid was warm, like bathwater. It rose around them as they waded to the center. The moment they reached the middle, the light changed. It wrapped around them like a living thing, binding them together. Laurel could feel Ilara's thoughts, Ilara's emotions, and she knew Ilara could feel hers. Think joy, Ilara's voice said in her mind. Think hope. Laurel thought of all the good things in the universe. She thought of peace between species. She thought of exploration and discovery. She thought of friendship and love.